What if the first hints of dementia weren't about forgetting names or dates, but about strange, offbeat changes in how someone acts? Let's start with a behavior that might seem harmless but could be a red flag: copying others' mannerisms. Picture Emma, a 71-year-old artist known for her bold original style. About 5 years before her diagnosis, she began mimicking her neighbor's accent, then started wearing the same hats as her book club friends. Soon she was echoing strangers' catchphrases and even copying dance moves from TV commercials. Her family thought she was just being eccentric, but it was more than that. Studies link this to frontotemporal dementia, which targets the brain's frontal lobes, the areas that define who we are. When these regions deteriorate, the brain struggles to maintain a sense of self, causing people to unconsciously mirror others' speech, habits, or even hobbies. This isn't playful imitation. It's a sign that the person's identity is unraveling. Research shows that up to 65% of early frontotemporal dementia cases involve some form of mimicry, often years before other symptoms surface. Next, consider someone who suddenly becomes overly formal, even with their inner circle. Mark, a 67-year-old retired chef with a warm, casual demeanor, started addressing his siblings as sir or madam and thanking the cashier multiple times for a single transaction. His stiff, almost rehearsed politeness felt like he was following a rule book. 3 years later, doctors diagnosed semantic dementia, which erodes the temporal lobes responsible for reading social and emotional cues. A 2024 study explains that this condition can disrupt the ability to navigate casual interactions, leading to overly polite, scripted behavior as a fallback. This creates an emotional gap, making conversations feel distant and unnatural. For loved ones, it's like the person they know is fading into someone who can't connect the way they used to. Now imagine a family member who becomes fixated on rules or fairness to an extreme. At 72, Susan started emailing her homeowners association about minor issues, like a neighbor's slightly overgrown lawn, and lectured friends about recycling protocols. Her children thought she was just opinionated, but 4 years later, Alzheimer's was confirmed. A 2023 neurology journal study shows that a shrinking prefrontal cortex, which manages judgment and emotional regulation, can spark an intense focus on morality or justice. This rigid thinking affects up to 75% of early Alzheimer's patients, turning small concerns into all-consuming missions. It's not just being particular, it's the brain losing its ability to process nuance, creating a hyper-focused view of right and wrong. Then there's the jarring sight of someone acting cheerful at the wrong moment. At 74, Grace smiled and made light comments during a memorial service, even chuckling about a relative's old car. Her family was stunned, thinking she was being callous. In truth, frontotemporal dementia was disrupting her brain's emotional wiring. Research from the Alzheimer's Society notes that damage to the frontal and temporal lobes can cause emotional responses to misfire, leading to laughter or joy in serious situations. This affects roughly 45% of patients with this dementia type early on, and it's not a lack of care. It's the brain failing to match feelings to the moment, creating reactions that feel shocking or inappropriate. Another warning sign is an almost childlike reliance on one person. After his partner passed, 77-year-old Henry became inseparable from his daughter, following her around the house and getting anxious if she stepped out for groceries. He'd wait by the door or call her repeatedly, ignoring other family members. 2 years later, vascular dementia was diagnosed. Studies show that as dementia clouds cognition, the brain latches onto one safe person for stability, with 70% of early-stage patients showing this behavior. It's not just closeness, it's a desperate need for familiarity in a world that feels increasingly confusing, where one person becomes their anchor. What about an intense pull toward the past? At 73, Linda began tearing up over old postcards and spent hours sorting through childhood trinkets, talking about her late grandmother as if she were still here. Her family thought she was just nostalgic, but Alzheimer's was at play. Research from the National Institute on Aging highlights how damage to the hippocampus and amygdala, which handle memory and emotions, can heighten sentimentality. This affects 60% of early Alzheimer's patients, who may spend hours reliving old memories or recreating past routines. It's not just fond memories, it's the brain clinging to a clearer past as the present grows foggy, triggering emotional waves that feel overwhelming. Then, there's the odd shift in eating habits. At 75, Paul, who never liked sweets, started sneaking chocolate syrup onto his vegetables and eating jam straight from the jar. His partner thought he was being stubborn, but frontotemporal dementia was altering his orbitofrontal cortex, which governs impulses and taste. A 2022 study found that 55% of patients with this dementia crave sweet or unusual food combos, even if they previously avoided them. This isn't a quirky preference, it's the brain's reward system going haywire, driving compulsive eating that feels completely out of character. Another clue is a rigid attachment to routines. At 77, Maria insisted on coffee at precisely 8 in the morning, organized her desk in the same order daily, and grew agitated if plans changed. Her family assumed she was just set in her ways, but Alzheimer's was the cause. Research in cognitive neuroscience shows that neurodegeneration reduces mental adaptability, making routines a coping mechanism for 70% of early dementia patients. When the brain can't pivot, structure becomes a shield, and disruptions can spark distress that seems disproportionate. Lastly, there's the painful shift of emotional disconnection. At 70, James, once a lively storyteller, became withdrawn. He stopped laughing at jokes, sat silently during family dinners, and seemed uninterested in news. His wife thought it was sadness, but mixed dementia was at work. A 2024 Alzheimer's Association study notes that apathy affects 85% of early dementia cases, as the brain's emotional pathways fade. This isn't just a mood swing. It's the loss of the spark that fueled joy or engagement, leaving the person feeling absent, despite being right there. These unusual changes might seem small, but they're critical signals. Often showing up years before memory issues, they offer a vital chance to seek help. If you spot these in someone close, don't ignore them. Early steps can slow progression and give families time to prepare. What are your thoughts on these signs? Jump into our next video for more health tips to help you thrive. You'll love it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you there.